Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Pro League for North America. My name is Blue. Joining me here this evening is Mega Man, and we're about to jump into the second set for tonight. Two best of ones once again, of course, and it's going to be between compLexity and Cloud9, starting off here on Overpass. So let's talk a little bit about it. Mega Man, take us away.
All right, so we've seen Cloud9 on Overpass so far this season once to start the season off with the roster that they do have. And it was a complete dismantling of CounterLogic Gaming. That's who they played against, and they won 16-5. So they completely destroyed CLG on this map. compLexity, on the other hand, we saw them not necessarily. Have we seen them on Overpass so far this season? No, we have not. So I don't actually have any info from this season to go off of with their new roster, but we have seen them on Cash. They played Cash, I believe it was last night or 2 nights ago. And they played against Energy, and they ended up losing 16-13. Now, granted, we've talked about Cloud9 and Cash being more of like their home map, something that they feel very comfortable on. It's always been a relatively strong map for them. I believe we just saw them play on it the other night, and they lost to Optic. So many more questions are being raised than anything else. But Optic is playing really well this season too.
Unfortunately for Cloud9, here's the reality of the situation. If we can be like brutally honest about it,
let's be frank.
It's that they don't really have any strong maps right now. It's that, yeah, you could say Cash is their home map, but that's like every North American team has Cash as their home map because it's just such a straightforward map to play. So most teams are able to adapt to it so easily.
Trying to be nice here, man.
It's not gonna happen.
You have no maps.
Remember, I'm a communist apparently.
Oh, so. That's right. Yeah, Richard Lewis and Thorne.
I hate North American
influence
teams.
on you.
But
right. I remember that piece of paper that you balled up at ESL Pro League and threw in the trash can, just like all the North American dreams at that land.
The problem though for C9 is that this is also like that. I wouldn't necessarily say that one victory they had versus CLG was such a prominent one, simply because of the fact that was. Like, I think that was right after when CLG had come back from the game show land at the beginning of February, and they were in, like, really bad shape for their online matches. So CLG was not necessarily up to snuff for that one. If you hark back to the season before this, the guys from Cloud9 actually had a really rough time playing on this map a lot. There was quite a few upsets against them that happened here. This is where what is now Optic got a victory against them in Pro League, which no one was expecting at that point in time. And there was a couple other teams as well that managed to steal it away. So it's definitely not going to be the safest map choice for Cloud9, but a lot of those problems also echo in the same way and much more loudly on the compLexity roster. So more than likely, Cloud9 should still have the advantage here, but there are definitely weak points for the compLexity roster to abuse. And if their players come today with their individual performances on the A game, then they might have a chance to steal it away. But more than likely, Cloud9 should have the advantage here in this map.
Yes, they should. But I mean, it's like you said. I mean, they got beat up on this map last season, so it's hard to tell where they're going to be until we actually see this current lineup. But on paper, they should be the better team. However, compLexity, they started off the season pretty hot as well. I believe, if I remember correctly, if I can find where their team name is here. Actually, no, they didn't start off hot at all. I don't actually know what I'm talking about. They were 2-5, then they were 2-8, yeah, or 2-6. So they're 2-6 right now. A lot of their losses have been relatively close, though. 16-14 to Liquid on Dust 2, 16-13 to Selfless on Cash, 16-13 to Energy on Cash, 16-13 to Energy on Dust 2. So we're going to see them on Cash later on. Maybe they can iron out the kinks that they've had a couple of times that they played that, but into the 9th round we go.
All right, so let's see who's going to take the opening side choice, and it actually looks like, well, there you go. Fraud can just get 4 knife kills in the knife round and dominate it there. So compLexity are going to be able to get their side choice to start off, and they're going to be jumping onto CT, which, let's talk about C9 again, and a lot of the problems that they had specifically at their most recent LAN, or at their most recent performance, which was the major qualifiers. Their biggest problem often was the T side, and this has to do with how confident Nothing is coming into a set. Again, versus compLexity, I don't really think Nothing should be as nervous or as worried, so his calling should be better off here for the T side, and hopefully that'll lead to a better performance on the T side for C9. But if things start off badly, then the T side could become bad by that bit of a vice there. So we are going live now, so let's take a look and see how things go. Once again, compLexity starting off on the CT side, and C9 on the T side here.
Yeah, and they're already going for playground control. Trying to get a little bit of early intel out of this one. Stewie and Freak going to be working their way up towards long A. Sanks is going to be there, so they're taking a little bit of a gunfight here, but the range of that USP could be put to work, but now he's let him get up really close. And Freak right around the corner, trying to find that pop flash. There's one, and Stewie jump peeking, takes him down with the burst Glock. So it's a 1-for-1 trade over there in the backside of bathrooms. But again, look at this presence by the CTs over here on this A bomb site. They're pretty much playing for a retake on B, and that bomb is actually working its way over towards Monster right now to join up with another one of their teammates. So Skadoodle and Nothing going to be probing for action over there, and the other two are coming down through short to try to find something through that squeaky door area. So now the rotation is going to be on from the CTs. They've got 2 in heaven, instantly smoked off. That's the default play. Roka, though, his pistols are good. Going to find that first one. Death does go down to Skadoodle, so it is going to be a plant now in this A or B bomb site, but now they're going to go for this retake. And again, Roka, his USPs have been so good throughout this season. Fraud's going to find one, looking for another one. He's got coverage from the barrels. Roka's going to go on the hunt, can't land the shot just yet, so it's down to a 2v2. They're both going to have to come around from the short side, and Shroud, one tap to Roka, takes him down. It's all on Fraud, 1 versus 2. They're going to double peek him, and he can't decide who to shoot. Shroud comes up with 2 big kills there to close out the round. Cloud9 off and rolling, 1-0.
A little bit chaotic to start things off, but they recover quite nicely and just have that holding construction. compLexity, unfortunately, get a little bit too aggressive with their push, so they're taken down quite easily as we got to the end of it, and that 2v2 is handled perfectly by C9. Now they get the early investment rolling in here. Bit of an unorthodox one when we take a look at what has actually been bought. An AK, a Galil, 2 SMGs, and then a Scout on Skadoodle, but should still work fine enough with compLexity basically going for a very, very light round here. Most of these players just upgraded to P250s, and then we have a CZ sitting on Def. No armor behind this either, so try to get aggressive, pushing up through short and long A, but only so far. Actually, no, 2 kills are found. It's evenly traded out, 2 for 2. Child's going to bounce it back, though. Sanks found one more, but Skadoodle takes down Shinobi, and now Sanks is the last man alive in a 1v3. But I guess some okay damage being done when you consider what was invested from the CT side.
Yeah, really. I mean, all things considered, they didn't really put any armor or really too terribly much into this. They just upgraded some pistols. They went for that long A push on, they went for the long A and fountain push, and it ended up getting them a couple of kills out of the round. Now they're going to be going towards the A bomb side. Sanks has a read on this. He could surprise somebody here as he's coming around from the stairs side. Shroud is going to be up top looking for the angle right now, but not going to be obliged just yet from Sanks, and now he's going to take the peek and see if he can find anything, and he's going to find the back of Nothing's head, and he's just going to tap away here. No support being dealt out here from the terrorist side, and now he's going to reaggress. Shroud does manage to spin back around, but I'm not really sure what the communication was from the terrorist side of Cloud9 on that one, but that got a little bit hairy for a second there.
So Cloud9 do manage to close things out. Sanks, unfortunately, just can't connect the shot when it comes down to that final battle there, so he's going to get taken down pretty easily, and it's going to be pretty much the same type of buy again from compLexity. A little bit more utility coming into the mix this time around, but for the most part, just a couple upgraded pistols here and there, P250s for most of them, as they're really trying to save up for that first gun round. They do not want to invest in these ecos at all, so C9 should have a very easy time walking over these once again.
It's a stack towards B, though, and this is going to be a little bit treacherous here for the terrorist side as they're going to work their way on in here. They've got to clear Sanks out. Pop Flash comes out. Freakazoid going to go in on one, but Def answers back. They've got a player behind the stripper pole completely blinded, and they're going to capitalize. 3 kills netted. Now Shroud comes in. 2 kills for him. Looking for more. Def down here in the pit. They've got another one up there by Heaven, and it's going to be Def to fall next. It's going to be 3 kills for Shroud. Lighting him up. He's on 8 HP, but Shinobi's not ready for the shoulder peek, and Shroud's going to be able to find a 4 kill on the round. He's already 8-0, 3 rounds in.
This is going to look like another one of those games where it just becomes like a Shroud highlight reel. So far he's off to a hot start with 8 frags. Next person down is Skadoodle at 3. Nothing is yet to find a frag, but it's still very early on, of course, and with how potent Shroud has been, it's not really any reason for Nothing to have found a frag as of yet, as he's doing most of the job for the rest of his team. So he's off to a good start, but this is what we always see from C9. And now that we're on a gun round, the question is, what do we see from the rest of the team? And also, for compLexity, what do we see from the entire team on these guys? And so far, they're off to a very blanking start, but they've been saving up on these eco rounds. They didn't really invest too heavily on them at all, so now that they have the guns in their hands, they've saved up for this round specifically, so let's see what they can throw back at the guys on the T side.
Well, and one of the big things to look at as well is, you know, Stewie's died 3 times, Freakazoid's died 3 times. You know, they didn't invest heavily into rifles, either of those 2 players going into those last couple of rounds, but the big thing is that they had to rebuy an SMG or at least buy a pistol to go into those rounds. So they're both relatively low on money. I mean, Skadoodle at $100, he picked up the op, so he's heavily invested. Stewie's got $50 into this round. If Cloud9 lose this, they're in a really weird money situation because Freak, Nothing, and Shroud should all be able to buy, maybe drop a gun over from Shroud, but they're on thin ice as far as their economy is concerned right now. So if compLexity can pick up these rounds, or at least pick up 1 round, they're going to put themselves into a really good spot to be able to win out.
And now the guys from C9 getting a little bit lower on time, move themselves over towards short A, but Dev spotted this. He's going to pick up the first kill, and it's on to Shroud, turning around, finds another one on the Stewie. He didn't necessarily realize that Nothing was pushing, but Nothing being so slow with it, he gave Def the time that was needed to re-peek. However, Nothing wins the duel anyway. Sanks is out over here outside of the bathrooms for the trade. He picks up a second one on Skadoodle, and a third to shut out Freakazoid. Huge play from Sanks. Shuts down the entire push and puts compLexity on the board.
It's a great play for compLexity, solely on the fact that Def was able to put out just a brilliant fake. He picks up those 2 kills, they killed him, and they were like, all right, well, we got the guy that was by bathrooms, let's just push onto the site, not accounting for Sanks in that little corner. And he capitalizes in a big way. So compLexity going to be on the board, and like I talked about, with their money being in such a weird spot, they're just going to go for the Tech 9 armor on a couple of players, the old Rush B Stratorino, see if they can get anything happen in this round.
C9 moving in very quickly into that B-bomb site. Pressure's going to be on the Fraud, but he's completely flashed and out in the open. Roka responds, tries to pick up a second, but not going to be able to do it. Shinobi does still pick 1 kill up here, and he's still alive up towards Heaven, but he's got to be careful. A lot of smoke coverage and overall utility usage working its way over there onto the site. Freakazoid finds another kill against the CT, so you're down to just Def and Shinobi. And unfortunately, with Heaven being smoked off, Shinobi can't really do anything from Heaven, so he's moving in from CT main. Freakazoid, or apologies, Skadoodle can hear all of this, though. He knows they're moving back out. Pop Flash is perfect onto the CTs. Freakazoid finding another kill on Shinobi, and now Def is the only one left alive. Nothing he can do about this 1v3. He's going to try to run. He's being pursued by Skadoodle. I believe the flash goes down, but it's thrown a little bit too late, so Skadoodle's able to take him down before he's hit by it. And Cloud9 respond back with a round of their own. They reset the CT economy and put themselves back into a secure 3-round lead.
Something funny to note there at the end of that round was Skadoodle was so blind when he killed Def that he tried to drop the M4 that he had to get the op that Def had, and ended up picking up the M4 again before his vision came back, and he had to carry the M4 into this round. Not the end of the world, because it is a save round for compLexity, but obviously Skadoodle being Skadoodle wants to have that AWP. That's a little bit of a bummer there at the end of that round.
Yep. So now C9 back into a secure position here. We'll just slow play things, as with compLexity being reset, they're just going to go for a single save and probably will invest in the next round here. Only seeing those upgraded pistols once again. And while we've seen a couple trades happening in those first few rounds where they went for a similar buy, really nothing significant was happened so long as C9 didn't, over push themselves, so long as C9 did not continue to play too aggressively. That's where they overlook some of these angles. So you can already see from the way that C9 are moving themselves and the way that compLexity have tried to stack that so long as they keep most of this push over here towards long A, they should have a pretty easy time getting onto the site, but now continuing to play it slowly, compLexity is catching on to the push, so they're going to start to rotate in positions to counter this out too, and at the very least try to find a couple of trade kills.
That smoke at long A, that was actually thrown by Skadoodle, so they're going to kind of bunch up behind this right now. They've got nobody to clear out bathrooms. It's very, very far away lurk from Shroud. That flash is great! Roka just spraying that smoke, finds 2. Sanks is going to be able to come in on 1 as well, but it's Stewie to try to answer back. He picks up 2 of his own. It's down to a 2 versus 2. He's got to reload the AK. Fraud going to try to capitalize, but he can't land the shot. It's down to Sanks, 1v2. Stewie is on 9 HP. He should be an easy kill with that USP, but it's Shroud that he needs to worry about, and he's going to spot him out. Tries to take the battle with him. Swings on 1. That's Stewie down. Trying to get the shot, but Shroud's going to save the day for Cloud9. 5-1. And C9 going to take a 4-round lead here, but that was scary.
Roka had almost an incredible kill spree going on there, too. If he was able to chain a couple more of those together, there was smoke out in the way. It was a little hard for him to figure out exactly where the positioning was, and he had to fall back. So he only manages to pick up 2, but those 2 kills were very impressive. Also, at the same time on C9, the recovery at the hands of Stewie was great. He's really the only reason that did not collapse into chaos to give complexity the round and essentially eco the previous eco round and steal that away from the hands of the T's. So they maintained control. But complexity do go into another buy round where they can hopefully hold things off a little bit better.
Look at this information gathering mission that they're on right now. They know that this bomb is going to be going towards B again this round. They've already pushed up Playground. They've pushed up Party. They pushed up Fountain side. They know that there's absolutely nothing, no pressure whatsoever over in this area. So they're going to throw their utility here at B, try to hold them back, stave off the push for as long as they possibly can, and they're going to go for the backstabs. So you can see they're just set up right now. Def is back here. Sanks is back here. Fraud's going to open up, takes down Stewie, so the B bomb site being held relatively well so far. He's down on 2 HP, so he's got to be very careful. Falls back into pit. They've still got 2 over here by barrels, but Skadoodle's going to find 1. Nothing's there to support as well. And now trying to make his way in is Sanks, but he can't get through because of Shroud being down here being such a pest in the pit. Def's going to come around the corner. They should be able to finish him off, though.
But
Maybe.
no, Fraud at 2 HP kills a fully armed up Freakazoid, and then Sanks comes out from the connector and finishes off Shroud. So complexity take away that round from C9. And now they themselves have to work against this T economy, which you just look at the numbers. They're still going to be able to buy here, but it's at a weird amount for some of these guys. Skadoodle's down at 1.5k, but then you've got the most is Shroud at 6.2k. So they're actually only going to half buy this time, just going for Tech 9 armor buy-ups.
Yeah, but the last time they did this, they barreled into that B-bomb site and got the round win out of it. This time around, they're going to work things towards Fountain side. Def is going to be behind this smoke, and they're just going to barrel on through. Flashbangs come out. Def spraying wildly, can't line it up. Stewie's going to be there, finds 1. He's going to find Sanks as well. He's not even going to stop to pick up the gun. He's just barreling into this site right now. A little bit of an NA nade there from Fraud. He's going to damage himself down to 94, and they're going to get the bomb plant before any CTs can even rotate in. Freakazoid on the cusp of that smoke. It doesn't spread enough. And Stewie again finding a 3rd kill for the round. So these Tech 9s have paid off huge for him.
Roka, though, with a god spray transfer there. I don't even know if he knew Freakazoid was in semi, but it connects anyway. Finishes him off. Down to a 3v2. The guys on scene have the bomb on the floor there in their safe planet positions. They are going to try to throw the smoke over it to see if they can ninja through, but Skadoodle peeks out. He's destroyed by Roka, and now they're moving in. Shinobi going to try to defend his teammate, but nothing is taken down Roka. Shinobi moving in. He doesn't have a kit to work with here. There's less than 10 seconds left on this bomb timer. He's going to go and try to frag it out, but nothing shuts him down. And C9 find a 6th round on the board to keep their lead going strong, whereas complexity losing that round once again, now going to be reset and have to start from ground zero to build their economy.
It's a little upsetting that that awesome double spray from Roka went a little bit. I mean, it was awesome, but sadly they don't win the round afterwards because Stewie did so much work with that Tech 9. That's, I mean, a god play trumping a god play right there. So 6-2, Cloud9 back in control. They're looking for a 7-2 scoreline moving forward out of this round. Let's see if they can manage to make that happen, as it's going to be another save round for complexity.
Now C9's players, again, back to the passive style of play. And also choosing to try and stack up some money this round. Skadoodle, a little bit more of a preservative buy, just investing into the Tech 9. They know it's an eco at the hands of complexity. And Freakazoid also picking up the Mac 10. So he'll be trying to farm a little bit here. Whereas complexity, same story as basically every eco round so far. Very little investment, just upgrading the pistols. No real utility buy or armor sitting behind these. So more than likely, C9 should be able to shut it down, but we have seen some good responses so far, and we're about to see one as Shinobi gets the headshot, the close-up engagement on a Shroud, and takes him down. And now that he's found a rifle, he can fall back to the B site and try to hold things off here safely. The problem, though, that there's a very heavy commitment from the guys on complexity right now towards that B bomb site, where the actual hit is going to be working its way up towards A, where there's literally zero defense from complexity at this point.
Yeah, Def's making his way over, but he's going to get there too late. They're already going to be up in the site by the time that he even makes his way in. Bank getting smoked off. He's got no avenue of attack right now. There is a little bit of a gap in there, but unfortunately he doesn't see Skadoodle. He's just going to push on out, and this could be well timed. He knows that one went towards long. He knows that Stewie's over here towards truck. He's going to tap away with that CZ. Can't line up the shot just yet. Stewie down to 17 HP. Still a lot of work left to be done in this round from both sides. It's 4-on-3 now, favoring complexity. Skadoodle tucked away at long A. They need to go and hunt for these frags right now. Nothing going to get tagged up. Still looking for that kill. And now Roka rolls in. He's got an AK to work with. Takes the close battle. Finds one. But there you go. Skadoodle and nothing. Going to shut this one down.
Nothing moving in. Oh, almost just rounds the corner without even seeing Roka to take him down. But now he's going to peek out. Lines up the shot that time. Finishes off Roka. And another almost god performance from Roka is denied. However, it was an eco round, and keep in mind, they killed 4 to 5 players, so still a very consistent amount of damage being done to the T-side economy. Keeps them very low on the money, and compLexity are able to go for a buy round here, but it's limited. Taking a look at it now, those that buy rifles, for most of them at least, really don't have a whole lot of utility behind it, and Sanks can't even get a rifle. He downgrades to a 5-7 armor buy, and even his buy only gives him a smoke and 2 flashbangs.
Yeah, but this is nearly desperation times. Shinobi getting aggressive on long A, though, does find Skadoodle, who can't land the shot with the AWP. That's a name that we haven't really said too terribly much in this. He's 7-7, but this time around, Shroud.
That's the second round in a row he got killed on connector steps.
Did he get killed from the same position twice, though?
No, that one was a different position, but it was the same general area.
I was going to say, Shinobi was hiding behind the steps there when he rounds the corner, and that time he was playing up on top of the scaffolding, Def was. So, unfortunately, Shroud's not having a good time pushing through there. He's 10-5, but, I mean, he was 8-0 after the first 3 rounds, and now he's 10-5. So he's gone 2-5 in the last 5 rounds.
Yeah, he's not having the best of luck when it comes to checking his corners. It's not really a luck thing, granted, but still.
This round turned out great for compLexity, though. I mean, it's all down to nothing here in a 1v4. There's really no situation where he should be able to get out of this alive, and he doesn't.
Sanks has the angle lined up, shuts him down, and compLexity on a 3rd round pickup. However, in the grand scheme of things, they are still very far behind here. 3-7 coming into the final rounds of the half. And C9 to already have 7 on the board when it's definitely a fairly CT-sided map is not going to be good, especially when C9 overall are a much weaker team when it comes to the T side, as we've been looking at their performances recently. They need to try and bounce back now and keep this to at least 6-9. Try for the 7-8 or the 8-7 in their favor if they can. But from this point forward, it needs to be almost flawless from compLexity. And we're coming on to another Tech 9 armor buy from the guys on C9. They move in, 2-for-1 trade, 2-for-2 now. The Freakazoid's taken down Roka. Sitting back over here, Fraud in the CT Cub. He peeks out, takes another duel versus Freakazoid, does some heavy damage to Freak, but still, he wins it. And now down at 6 HP, CT's going to move in, trying to hold on to control of things, but they're already off the site. Sanks, though, rolling out through the alternate tunnel, takes down nothing. Looking for Freakazoid, finds him as well, and everything's on Skadoodle now, and he's the only player that didn't have armor, I believe.
Gonna find one and done. Sank's gonna take him down, but again, too close for comfort. These eco rounds from Cloud9 have been brutal every single time. They won 2 of them. This time around, they lose it, but they take 4 players from the CT side with them. So no matter how many rounds compLexity can get on the board right now, they haven't had an opportunity to build up their money. So again, they're gonna buy down. They're gonna have a decent buy this time around. This is probably their best buy that they've had so far in this half. But, I mean, 3 rounds still the difference. A lot of back and forth in this matchup, but again, I mean, you look at it, it comes down to 1 player alive. I mean, none of the rounds that compLexity has won, they had 4 alive in 2 of them, 3 alive in 1 of them, and then that last round where they had 1 alive. All other rounds were won by Cloud9.
And now C9 just get themselves ready for another B push. Everybody's lined up outside the site, still taking it slow for Shroud inside of connector because he constantly keeps getting wrecked in here, so just gonna make sure he checks every little nook and cranny before he evacuates it this time. And now they're going to start to roll in. Stewie's picked up the first entry on Naroka. They didn't account for Fraud. What? They didn't notice Fraud sitting over there after he fired, so he's going to get a 2-for-1 trade. Shroud does take him down, but now it's back into a 3v3. Stewie has a good angle against Shinobi, though. Just barely wins that duel as he almost got fired upon, but Sanks moves in, finds another trade, takes down Shroud, down to a 2v2. Skadoodle trying to flank on a Sanks, and he succeeds in doing so. Takes him down, finally under control. Def still in heaven working with the op, but his odds have been severely reduced now, as it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get himself into a good position here.
Yeah, both teams playing from the same spot, too. Going to be very, very difficult for him to do this, but are they going to be able to remember where they played? Oh, boy. Never mind. I was concerned that they might not actually remember where they planted because that's kind of an awkward plant spot. It's not by default. It's not necessarily for a specific place. But he misses the smoke, and he ends up dying. So money gets reset again for compLexity. They got close the last time that they were on a save round. But again, this is... How many times have we seen them save so far this half? 3 times? 4 times?
No, way more than that. I think 4 or 5. 4, like, if you're not including...
count the anti-ecos.
Yeah,
from
if you're not including rounds 2 and 3, I would say like 4 times. But if you include them, then it's been like 5 or 6 times now.
Jesus. That's just, I mean, that just shows you the power of the CT economy and how it can just punish you. This time around, it's just going to be another fast B strat. They get on the site very, very quickly. Bomb is planted. Shinobi the only casualty so far, but again, they don't have armor to work with. There's not really going to be a whole lot that they can do. They're going to pop the door here and try to work their way up, but they've got graffiti control, they've got long control, they've got site control. Talking about Cloud9, and now Amali comes out, and that's just going to be insult to injury. There's no avenue of attack. Skadoodle, he actually misses the shot. Nice little peek there from Fraud. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but gonna look for the deagle. Roka finds one, looking for another, but he can't do it. Nothing is going to be able to clean up two of them, and this is going to be the round. Def trying to come around the corner. He's going to get caught out. Spray and pray from Freak does manage to find him the kill, and the last one is Sanks outside of T-spawn. Pushing up, and he can't get it done. So 9-4, Cloud9 on top by 5 rounds yet again. And looking to extend their lead. It's going to either be a double save or a force buy here, and it's going to be a force buy. So they're going to try to buy out these last 2 rounds on complexity.
So Cloud9 have taken a good amount of control on this T side and are in a relatively safe position now with their round score for this half. But picking up some more is definitely not out of the question, especially when you consider that complexity is still trying to juggle their money here and is still working with a fairly buy, and the fact that they only have 1 M4, 3 FAMASs, and a scout sitting on Sanks. This does give them a little bit more utility, so maybe they're hoping this can hold back C9 a bit better, but ultimately the firepower is going to be a bit lacking. Shroud waiting inside the lower tunnels though. And this has become his sort of playground for the entire half so far. Most of the time he's been beat. It's a bit surprising considering him, but elsewhere on the map, believe towards long A, Sanks is going to pick up a kill on a Stewie. Freakazoid's quick to trade that out, and with Shroud's additional kill on a Def, they're going to be in control, but Shinobi does trade out the kills inside of Connector, and is able to take down Shroud to bring it back into control for the CTs in a 3-on-3.
Yeah, but he takes a ton of damage, and he's also given his position away. So he's going to get traded out by Skadoodle. Nothing does fall. It's going to be down to Roka and Fraud now versus Skadoodle and Freakazoid and see what they can do here on the CT side. But Complexity desperately need to pick up this round. Otherwise, they're going to be on a broken economy again for the final round of the half. And there's nobody over here towards the A-bomb site. So they're working their way up long. This should be a relatively free bomb plant here for the terrorist side of Cloud9. And, I mean, just a tough retake. Op AK versus Op M, or AK M4. So no noise being made, and they can actually plant for the backside for Bank as well if they really want to, but they're both pushing in through Bank. So this is different.
So Roka's found Freak, and Skadoodle on his lonesome now. He's got 20 seconds, but he's actually, I think he's just going to go for the kills. Moving up. Oh, they almost were lined up, but not going to be the case. Roka has the absolute advantage, though, in that case. It shuts out Skadoodle, and C9, unfortunately, had control of the situation and threw it away to a certain degree. So Complexity will be finding a 5th round.
Yeah, and fascinatingly enough, you know, Fraud being known as the 1.6 op god that he was, he's throwing the ops over to Def right now because Def is obviously a little bit more experienced with the op in CSGO, so see if he can do anything with it. He started off really well with the op, but now he's only 7-12. He's only gotten a handful of kills ever since that, and now again, it looks like they're going to be favoring towards the B-bomb site, and they're leading with the bomb out through short, so this is a little bit risque here for the terrorist side of Cloud9.
Getting ready to push into it. Fraud. This worked perfectly last time when he got aggressive over here by Sandbags, but they better check it this time. Nope! He gets another kill, and he's going to move in and try to take down Freakazoid. He's been pop flashed, so Fraud finds 2 kills. He's looking for a 3rd now, but jumping through. I think he's finally met his match against Shroud, who gets into the exact spot where he was picking up kills earlier. Nonetheless, though, Complexity down to only 2 players left alive because Cloud9 had much better luck elsewhere there, with both Nothing and Skadoodle picking up a couple kills, but Shinobi lurking in gets a free kill on a Skadoodle. They had no clue he was inside of the pit, and I think they just might have picked up on a Nothing's position over here to the left of the canals as well. So he's going to push out, finishes off Nothing, and he's just on a Shroud in a 1v2. He's got the smoke, he's got a pop flash ready to roll, just going to toss it out there. They're already defusing the bomb, but they had no clue he was moving up from construction. So Shroud just going to wreck Shinobi and Def, and he finds the 10th round for his team.
Oh, Shroudy. Dirty. Dirty, dirty. They didn't even expect that whatsoever. Pop flash comes through, blinds them both. And 10-5 scoreline. Cloud9 taking it to the CT side, and CT is where they found more success than they had on their T side. So that is a pretty solid terrorist side half for them. This one could be over relatively quickly moving forward. So we'll have to see how it pans out here into the pistol round in the second half. But nice play from Shroud to close out the round, and I'm sure they got to be feeling pretty hyped after that half.
Yeah. So it's all been on Roka and Sanks, who's actually, over the past couple of days, has been having a pretty good performance from compLexity. So those are going to be the two big fraggers you look to on compLexity now on this T side to hopefully perform pretty well. I would actually say Fraud's been having a pretty respectable game as well compared to where he normally is on this team. He's been picking up kills left and right. However, some of those kills have been due to mistakes that C9 have been making, but still much better off than he normally is.
For a second there, I thought compLexity was going to be playing the old cricket strat with the Glocks. Freak trying to get aggressive here by Subway. He's going to get caught out, and he's going to go down. And he's the only one at B, so that hyper-aggressive playstyle ends up biting the bullet early on. And now Roka, look at him. He's just pushing forward. He doesn't even give a crap right now. He's getting right in their faces. Now he's going to be trying to play this angle. He gets gooshed through the wall, looking for the frags. Going to peek on out, and he goes down, but it's Shinobi there to back him up. Finds one. Skadoodle's going to be the last one alive. Does manage to take down Shinobi. It's a 2 versus 1, and now it's Fraud and Sanks left alive in this one. Trying to prevent this bomb defuse. He does smoke it off. And now he's going to be looking for the kills. Finds the first, looking for the second, but it's Sanks. Takes him down. And compLexity walk away with the pistol round victory.
Almost an incredible play from Skadoodle. What he was trying to do there was actually really smart in that he would throw the smoke down, tap it, and again, because it's in the smoke, they have no clue whether he actually stuck it or not. So then he falls back and wraps around it, and he almost picked up both the kills with it. If compLexity had been a little bit more aggressive with that retake, and Skadoodle was able to surprise both of them at the same time, maybe he would have found those kills, but ultimately, the last player from compLexity, I think it was Sanks, was given time to recover and pick up that kill against him. So they'll find the pistol round here, and they will be able to start themselves off with the advantage here, but C9 on the CT side have gone for the stack and a very light investment here onto the B bomb site, so they might not be out of this one just as of yet. So they are kind of trapped in pit. It'll be 3 kills to 1. And most of the odds of them claiming this one are gone, but Shroud surprises a little bit there with the pickup on Sanks. He's immediately traded out, and then Stewie rolls in to pick up one more kill on a Shinobi before Roka takes him down and ends the round in the favor of compLexity.
Got a decent amount out of that round. Took 3 guns away. Sanks, though, cash money. Ended up getting $1,800 out of that. Spraying down 3. I mean, can you imagine running around that corner and spotting 4 players in the pit? Just the mini heart attack that he had to feel when he ran around that corner. He ends up getting 3 kills out of it, and finally Shroud's able to answer back. But Roka playing at a disadvantage this round. His teammate decided that knifing him in the backside was the best strategy to start. And this time it's the spray and pray from Roka. He's going to be able to find one and done, but it's the stack push on the B bomb site that's going to net 2 kills already in this round. Fraud does answer back, but it's Skadoodle to find one more. It's back to a 2v2, and Stewie does manage to dismantle Fraud, so it's going to come down to this 2v1, and Def left alone in a 1 versus 2.
There was a perfectly timed pop flash that was thrown over towards Monster. Skadoodle is actually going to close out this round, by the way. There was a perfectly timed pop flash that was thrown over towards Monster. Just as compLexity were starting to rush into it there, C9 got so much of an advantage off of that one, too. So much chaos followed it up. And it eventually did give Cloud9 the advantage, bringing it down to a 2v1. And Def, despite him actually seeing a player getting boosted up behind safe plant spot, I don't think he really caught on to the fact that there was a second player in pit, or at least he wasn't expecting that player to peek quickly enough. So he's taken down very fast. And that 2 versus 1 in the favor of C9. And before we even get to the first gun round, there's a bit of an upset with C9 finding a round being stolen away from compLexity. They are still going to force up though on this T side, as they cannot allow Cloud9 to run away any further.
Nice early nade, though. Finds good damage onto Roka, so he's playing from the back foot again to start this round off. 61 HP for him. So we'll see if he can manage to do anything into this round. He's just watching for any of the headshot angles that are coming around the corner. Shinobi does come through the squeaky door, so it looks like they're going to be favoring towards this B-bomb site to start this round off. You can see all of the smokes getting dispatched, and a very passive setup here from the CT side, so those smokes are going to get right up in their way. Oh, and Freak going to burn alive. And that's their stalwart defender on that B-bomb site. They've still got one down in the pit. That's nothing. Takes a wide peek and gets punished. One more up on the balcony. That's Skadoodle. He goes down. One more behind the smoke. Roka. And Roka just going absolutely apeshit this round. Finds 3, knocks him down, and it's Stewie 2K to try to close this one out.
He's sneaking in for free, though, and he can line up 2 kills. Finds 1, but Roka, very quick on the response from Pit. Takes him down before any more damage is done, and compLexity do bounce back with a round of their own here. Should reset C9's economy. They're sitting on a bit of an awkward amount, and that you can just take a look at it. 7.6k and 5.3k on Skadoodle and Stewie, but the rest of the guys have dirt money. So they're just going to upgrade pistols. A couple pistols, of course, will be donated probably by Skadoodle and Stewie, but they do have to reset themselves here and wait at least one more round before they buy again, which should close the gap a little more in the favor of compLexity.
Yeah, that's the big thing right here is compLexity. They've got a golden opportunity here to be able to capitalize on something, and this time around they're taking the safe route. They're not going to barrel into a stack at the B-bomb site, which has worked out for Cloud9 in the past. This time around, they're going to take the long-range angles and try to put them to work with those pistols that they are coveting so well. Stewie's going to take this peek on long A here in a second, I imagine, and he's going to, well, he's going to spot a couple. Now it's Scott and Stewie to hold this down, but that flash is a little bit too late. Def is going to get the lineup, and he's going to find Skadoodle as well. And that's pretty much going to shut things down for the round. Coming around, though, real quick is Shroud finds one. Fraud cleans him up. Roka answers back, takes down nothing, and it's all on Freakazoid in a 1v4. And he's going to get nowhere. Fraud's going to finish him off. 9 rounds now for compLexity.
And for C9, now the investment should be following up here in this round. Nothing's still a little bit low at 3.6k, but they do need to buy up here, as it's getting to a dangerous point if they want to try and hold on to the lead. Late buy, as you can tell, but yep, they're still going to go for it. And it's going to lead to quite a low amount of utility on both Freakazoid and Nothing. But with them, I think, both playing towards either side, it should balance itself out. And they shouldn't have too many problems holding on to things here. But compLexity now finally going to start to diversify themselves a little bit here, splitting up early on in the round. They do go for a quick control outside of Monster, but with C9 being aggressive, it's actually quite wise that they have not gone any further than this or gone for any connector control. They sort of dodged the bullet as far as C9's aggression in the early round is concerned.
Yeah, but again, this time around, I mean, look at the presence that Cloud9 has over here at this B bomb site. They've got 4 players over here. Now they're going to start to evacuate and work back towards A. So they go for the early gamble strat, see if they can find anybody pushing aggressively here from the Cole side, but they're not going to get any information out of this. They actually have no idea what's going on, and it's going to be Freakazoid playing this off angle, but that flash is money! Def going to capitalize, takes him down. The nade does return and takes him down to 24 HP, but man advantage already swung here into compLexity's side.
Shroud spotting some of that jump in there. It brings Def down. Our apologies. Yeah, brings brings Roka down just a little bit, but ultimately not really any significant amount of damage done. Now compLexity moving themselves in through Monster, trying to get quick control of the bomb site. Shroud finds one, but it's quickly traded out by Shanks, and the CT just leaving themselves out in the open there on that little upcropping inside of the pit, so Nothing's also going to go down from that same position. Finally, the response comes out, but he's been hit so heavily too. Skadoodle just leaves himself out there, so he's down to 4 HP. Stewie moves in, though. He picks up another kill. It's back down to a 2 versus 2, and Skadoodle picks up Fraud. What? Skadoodle just finishes off both of the remaining Ts, and Stewie is able to casually just walk right back in and defuse the bomb.
Fraud got caught with his pants down. He thought that that smoke was going to be more all-encompassing in that upper area, so he took his attention away from heaven. And Skadoodle re-peeked it and caught him. Caught him out. And with that, I mean, Cloud9 going to get a 12th round on the board. That bomb plant keeps compLexity's hopes alive. They're going to be able to buy into this one again. But the big thing is that they just don't have a lot of time left to work with. I mean, it's 12-9. They keep losing any rounds. I mean, it's just going to continue to get harder and harder for them.
Now compLexity moving back out, a lot more pressure coming over here towards the playground this time, and possibly shifting itself over towards long A, which is an area that for the most part has been ignored, but Roka just destroys Skadoodle right at the beginning, rounds the corner, no flash or anything, I don't even believe, just picks up the headshot on Skadoodle and drops the upper from C9 right off the bat. So compLexity off to a hot start, and they get the 5v4 advantage.
Roka again, though, finds nothing, and I mean, this guy is hot right now. There's a good pop flash. Roka, Stewie, praying. They can't trade it, though. He's down to 6 HP, and Shroud's going to hit the headshot on 6, so it's even back up. Stewie going to be looking for another pop flash here around the corner, but it's going to be Fraud. And he times it well. That pop flash doesn't necessarily catch the corner wide enough. And now Freakazoid trying to roll in, does manage to capitalize, takes down Fraud, and it's down to a 2v2. Shroud, though, he's not done just yet. He's going to find another one, looking for the last guy. That's Shinobi. And he's going to overextend, and now it's Freakazoid with only 19 HP versus 100 HP on Shinobi. He's got to hit the head here. Oh, and they spot him.
Just saw him.
Yep. Nicely done from Shinobi. compLexity stay in this one, 12-10. The comeback is still alive.
And they're going to try to bounce back now off of what is probably going to look like another C9 eco. Money's nowhere near good enough for them to really invest on this one. So it's just P250s so far. Maybe we'll see a Deagle coming out on Shroud or like a $500 pistol. There you go. Shroud invest into a CZ, but most of these guys don't buy anything at all. Nothing brings a little bit more utility to hold back compLexity, but they have no trouble at all. They even know this is an eco too. Def reinvested into a Mac 10 this round. So they're just going to try to get as much cash as possible out of this one.
See what they can do. Freakazoid playing close on short B, looking for anything that he can possibly find, but he's going to find bullets, and that's not going to be what he wants. And you can see, look, I mean, Cloud9 is so hesitant right now. They've pushed up aggressively through bathrooms. They've gotten fountain control if they want it. They've got a player over here in short and underpass. That's going to be Freakazoid, who got tagged up at short B. And they're just playing really, really passive. I mean, nothing starting to rotate back over towards the B-bomb site, and this is going to be the right call, but Shroud's so lonely over here right now, and Skadoodle just got obliterated.
Shroud steals away 1 kill on Aroka, but that's been the only thing these guys have found so far. Freakazoid, and nothing, or apologies, Freakazoid going down, and we see Stewie just getting obliterated. Nothing was the player down at 1 HP, and was going to get finished off pretty quickly by Senk. So minimal losses that time from complexity, only dropping Roka, I believe, during the course of it, and Def is actually just going to toss away the MAC-10, picks up the AK for this round. Roka with no problem reinvesting, and C9 actually looks like they're going to be saving again, as they still don't really have enough cash to go into Brawl this time. They need to save 1 more, and complexity could be able to tie it up now.
Yeah, this is where, if you're a Cloud9 fan, you start to sweat a little bit here. These things are starting to become a brawl in this matchup. I mean, it's back and forth, but complexity, they're holding the chips right now. They're holding all the cards. Freakazoid trying to get that pop flash spray down, but he can't do it. He can't line it up. And now the flash comes out, and Skadoodle actually gets team flashed by his own man, Stewie2K, coming out from the heaven. That's a great re-flash, though, but it's going to be too little too late.
Complexity are all just bundled up right now outside of Monster. They're all just in this one big group. Works great, with the exception of Shinobi, with the TK there on the Senks, but beyond that, everything's perfectly fine with a huge stack. If C9 had had, like, a really well-placed Molly or an HE, they might have been able to do some good damage and upset there, but they don't. They just lightly invest, and Complexity makes abuse of that by just moving in as this huge mob into the B-bomb site. But now we've gotten past the ecos from C9. It'll be tied up at 12 rounds to each team. And this is going to be one of C9's actual last chances to really stop Complexity on this runaway comeback.
Yeah. I mean, Skadoodle, he's playing an off angle here by Flowerbed outside of long A, so if Roka comes rolling around the corner, he should at least be able to miss a shot and take cover before he gets his head blown off. And he actually does manage to get the shot on Roka. He's lucky that that player that swung earlier didn't get the shot, and that was fraud. So thank his lucky stars on that one. This time around, though, it looks like they're going for bathroom control on the complexity side, trying to push up here towards the A bomb site with the lurker over at B. And that lurker is going to be Shinobi, who's actually at Sandbags right now. And if he can keep Freak and Shroud busy over here at B, maybe pull a rotation off of A, that could be beautiful.
So the flashes start to roll into that A bomb site, but C9 is aware of the push. They've rotated a lot of their players up here to try and defend this. This is going to be a rough take from Complexity. They need to try and open up that flank with Shinobi, or Shinobi just needs to get with the team right now. Because if not, this team is going to have a lot of trouble. And actually, they themselves are starting to pull away from it a little bit. 50 seconds left. So still plenty of time for Complexity to change their minds and go for the B side if they'd like. And that's what they're doing now, it seems, moving their players down through connector. They're still going to keep Fraud over here on long A just to keep some noise going, but it's definitely going to be changing to a B hit, and they need to start this execution soon.
Yeah, and Freak's actually in a really good position here if they walk this tunnel. He's going to have a good line of sight, but Sanks is trying to work his way up at the same time. And there you go. Freak's going to be able to find one. Not going to be able to get the second one. Stewie does find Fraud at A, but Sanks and Shinobi open up this B-bomb site, and it's down to a 2 versus 3. Skadoodle up here in heaven. He does have the op, so if they try to back out of the site, it's going to be tricky, and nothing is actually going to find one. Sanks, though, left alive in a 2v1, but Skadoodle, he doesn't miss those. Going to get the headshot, take him down. And that's going to be a 13-12 scoreline. Cloud9 staying alive, taking back the lead.
Money for Complexity still in a good enough position, though, to where we should see another investment coming into this round. Sank's a little bit low, sitting at 2k, but with the overbearing amount sitting on Shinobi and Fraud, they're easily going to be able to make up for that, of course. And they'll be able to reinvest into this round, and maybe one more after this at the very least. For C9 here, they need to hold up at this point, because they cannot get reset again. We already saw how volatile that was when it happened 3 or 4 rounds ago. If it happens again, they might be done here. Complexity might be able to take too strong of a lead.
Yeah, that's the biggest part. If they lose this round and they have to save again, it's pretty much a guaranteed 14-13. Now, granted, Cloud9 did steal away an eco round, but then they got reset immediately afterwards because of that. So, Complexity, they're in a golden opportunity right here. If they can pick up another round here, because they do have the superior firepower. You're playing against two FAMASes. They went for, I'm not even sure, Stewie went for, I guess he had a spawn for a quick peek towards Fountain with the op. So he took that early, and they actually traded back out. So Stewie's on an M4 now, up back in the hands of Skadoodle. But the firepower advantage is definitely with Complexity right now. They've got the AKs, they've got the advantage right now, and they're going to try to truck in towards this A bomb site. And nothing. He's going to get caught out early. Roka, not able to get the shot, and that could be the coffin nail right there. They're going to try to make their way on in. Nothing does eventually go down, but Skadoodle on the rotate is going to be able to find one. Freakazoid gets headshot by Fraud through the smoke. Sanks is able to pick off Skadoodle, so it's down to a 2 versus 2 right now before that trade came out. So They're looking to get the bomb plant. Def does have the bomb. Shroud takes the advantage of that slow peek coming up slope and leaves Fraud in a 1 versus 2.
Fraud tried to go for a flank, so sort of left his teammate out to dry there, but a bit unfortunate because I don't think they had full realization as to what Shroud was trying to do from the pit position there, nor that he would get so aggressive. So now he's moved back down, but the problem is Stewie is posted up in a position up here towards Heaven too. Should be able to wrap around outside and spot it, but no, Stewie's playing back right now, so he's going to work his way over there. Takes down Shroud. He's got to catch on the Stewie very quickly. The 20 seconds left on the clock. He's seen him in Heaven, and Fraud connects the headshot on the Stewie, wins the 1v2, and compLexity tie it right back up at 13 rounds and re-break the CT economy.
Really nicely done from Fraud. There was a couple of times where Stewie actually shoulder peeked, and I don't think Fraud actually caught on that he was up there. And it's actually probably it's a good thing that he didn't, because that might have drawn his attention away from the water pit, and he might have, you know, slow peeked Shroud in the wrong direction or not peeked the way that he did. But he ends up walking away with that, wins that 2v1, and again, here's the Cloud9 reset. And now, compLexity all in playground. They're going to hear these footsteps, I think. There you go.
Skadoodle sneaks through with 1 kill, but Maroka, Fraud, and Roka once again sneaking out 3 more kills to put it back into the balanced favor of compLexity here. Freakazoid and Shroud. Freakazoid trying to sneak his way around T and hopefully catch a flank on a couple of these guys, but Shroud, back towards the long age, just lost his own life. So compLexity are basically just going to walk on to that A bomb site.
Yeah, no reason not to. It's open for free. Freakazoid's all the way in the back lines right now, coming back through the playground area. Might be able to backstab a player. Might be able to pick up Def's gun. Not really sure what that was on the ground. Might have actually been able to hear Roka over here, so he might... Knife kill? Question mark? Up! Damn! Roka. The game sense on this guy. He could just eerily feel him. Shiver comes down his spine, and he spins around and finds that kill. Roka's on 29 kills right now. Sank's right behind him at 25. 22 for Fraud. Fraud's having a bit of a match, so... well played from these guys on compLexity. And another save from Cloud9.
Yeah, that was the big decision to make here, is whether we just go for the full save up and wait for that last round, or we were to invest here with a lot of downgrades, and they have chosen to go for the save there. So confident in their ability to string the next 2 rounds following this one together if they don't upset right here. But compLexity is going to play it slow regardless. I think they have gotten the read on the fact this is an eco, as otherwise there would be a much faster paced movement early on in the round. And Stewie, he's going to creep down, catch a Shinobi, and is able to pick up the first kill. However, now going to throw the pop flash down. Will that connect well enough? No, it doesn't. Actually, yes, it does. And Stewie's able to take down Def as well. Fraud responds with the pickup on a Freakazoid, but he's been brought down to 5 HP.
Stewie's got the superior angle right now. He's going to run into Fraud, and he's going to take that fight. He could swing on another one. Sanks does manage to spin around and take him down, so it's down to a 2 versus 2. compLexity not out of this one just yet. Shroud gets caught doing the same thing that he did in the last round. Roka's going to be privy to it this time. Yeah, but Ska from Barrels, oh... If he only played a little bit more patient, he would have been able to light them both up.
If he had waited there, because I don't think anybody was going to check Toxic, if he had waited there, then he might have been able to grab both of them on a surprise. Yeah. But I can understand wanting to shoot, because there is always that chance, of course, that they're just going to face check Toxic. And then you're a dead man, because in a 1v1, you've just got a P250 versus an AK, and up close as well. Unless you're just on point with that headshot from the first shot, then you're probably going to be dead. So now C9, I believe this is their pause, taking it basically at the last chance possible.
Yeah, I can't imagine compLexity would call a pause right now.
You could.
You
know, kind of an ass move, but
that would be, yeah.
Hey, I know you guys are getting all psyched out for this last round, or for what could be this last round, but let me pause real quick. But no,
what if
99% chance it's C9?
Yeah. What if Cloud9 paused it, and then as soon as they relinquish the pause, compLexity pauses right afterward? try to ice the kicker on the last round strat, I guess.
Tactics.
Yeah, man. So now that they talked about what they want to do, let's talk about what we want to do.
Yeah, we had a player AFK, so we need to take our own real quick, guys.
Potty break before the second map. There you go. 15 to 13 though, compLexity. I mean, they were down 10-5 at the half. They won the pistol round, but then they got that early that eco round from Cloud9 in round 3. But it's been round 3, 6, and 10 are the only rounds that Cloud9 have been able to pick up. So, I mean, what kind of a counter can they have? They've been getting picked apart at the B bomb site round in and round out. That seems to be where compLexity has been favoring most of this matchup. And I actually expect to see Cole go towards the A bomb site this round, just because it's like, okay, well, we've been beating him up at B so many times that maybe that's what they're going to talk about. Throw an extra body over at the B bomb site. You can see Skadoodle already looking like he wants to go towards B. Freakazoid, Shroud pointing that direction. So if they just go with a fast strat towards A, they might just be able to overwhelm that A bomb site before any kind of a recovery. And look, 4 players are actually going to go towards B to start the round off.
So compLexity now have the advantage. Now we need to see if they can keep it together for at least one more round here. Got a 2-in-1 shot to try and close out the game right now before it goes into OT, and that's where things can get really tense. On C9's side of this, of course, because they went for that save, they do get a much better investment. But, however, the guys on compLexity, they're not going to wait. They just move in, and Roka jumps over Toxic, picks up that first kill on a Freakazoid. Nothing is able to find a response and take down Roka, so it's down to a 4v4. But this is not where the actual play is happening. They have moved some extra assets down on C9's side. Stewie, though, almost caught with a nade in his hand. He is able to recover from it, and now trying to lurk back out. Segs takes down Stewie. The guys on compLexity have the big advantage now, down to a 4v3, but they're being a little bit slow with getting this bomb on the floor. Def finally moved in. He needs to get himself out of here, though, and that's not going to be possible. Shroud reads it, is able to take down Def. We're back into a 3 versus 3 scenario.
He almost doesn't even get the bomb plant because of that rotation coming in so aggressively. This smoke down on the stairs, it doesn't really cover off what they need to be covering off. And now they're going to move in. All 3 of them coming from the same spot. Fraud's going to be able to find the first one. Sanks is just hiding in the smoke. He doesn't even care right now. He's going to swing out, but he doesn't spot anything, so he goes right back into the smoke. So this is a really smart play here from Sanks. They're going to pop flash on down. They do manage to find him, though, so Shinobi down into a 1 versus 2, but they need to get on the bomb. They need to start the defuse. And they have a kid on nothing. He is going to be able to get on the bomb. Does he have time?
He's got it.
Barely. So hectic finish to that round, and just a little bit crazy all across the board. Still money on compLexity's side. They've still got the possibility to close this out, but Cloud9 at least making it close.
So no trouble reinvesting on the T side, and of course C9 with the victory under their belt. They'll keep the guns, the spoils of war, as it were, along with being able to reinvest for this one final time. But compLexity are not going to stop as of yet. They probably are going to go for a little bit more of a dynamic play, considering that what they tried there was a little bit more advanced than what we had been seeing, so maybe saving all their stops for these last couple of rounds, but they need to close it out here, because going into OT is where the pressure's really going to come in, and I feel like the seniority that C9 has over compLexity is where they can actually take this map away. So they need to end it right now, otherwise things will get very rough in OT. They're moving in, Roka sneaking his way onto the site, but it doesn't work. Nothing in Shroud able to combine and take him down, so C9 gets the opening advantage. The rest of the team, though, is now moving in through Monster, and that's not going to be a dynamic play at all. Everybody's just coming in directly onto that B bomb site. Freakazoid, though, completely surprised, because that Monster play was a mystery up to that point. Shinobi takes him down, and now we're back down to a 4v4.
Yeah, nothing actually didn't peek out long enough to see that. He could have spotted the bomb planter. He's going to be able to swing out and takes down Fraud, but it's back down to a 2 versus 3. Shinobi, he survives, but 11 HP. He's going to go down, and it's all on Def to try to come around and save this. We're going to overtime.
So a bit disappointing, considering compLexity had been looking in really good shape for these past couple of rounds, but something fell off, of course, and that pause that C9 did worked wonders as they were able to recover really nicely. And now they're going to tie it up and take us into OT. This is where it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for compLexity, because they had the same advantage that C9 had, and that they were constantly breaking the CT economy and keeping them down, forcing them onto ecos for multiple rounds in a row, which is what gave them the round advantage. Now, though, with it going into OT, and of course C9 having all those buys from round to round, they're not really going to have that advantage anymore. So they're going to have to constantly win out gun rounds, which is where it could be a problem point for compLexity.
Exactly. I mean, 10-5 half, 10-5 half. A little bit scary there. compLexity kind of floundered the last couple of rounds. I mean, they had pretty much every advantage that they could possibly want going into those last 2 rounds. And they just end up not being able to capitalize. So, well done from Cloud9. Let's not take anything away from that. They were able to get the tie, get it back into overtime range. But here's the big question, though. compLexity, they found... I mean, both teams found their heavy success on the terrorist side. compLexity gets the first shot at starting on T side. So if they're able to 3-0 the T side, all they need to do is just get 1 round on their CT side. That one coveted round. Because you're looking at 19 rounds being the victor for the OT. So we'll see if they can manage to pull that off. Because they definitely get every advantage going into this OT.
And we are going to go into that OT right now. So let's take a look and see who's going to claim this match. Keep in mind, guys, for those of you that may just be tuning in, this is only a first of 2 maps. We're going to be going to a second map directly after this one. So the pressure's on for both teams right now. Is C9 definitely going to be wanting to win this map? This is one of the sets that they should have an advantage in so far this season, but they've been struggling, so it's not necessarily as apparent as it would be for some fans anymore. And compLexity If they can take at least one map away here, that's a huge victory for them, regardless of where their placing is going to be this season.
Freakazoid with the op. Fascinating. He finds Fraud, takes him down. Def actually has an op here on the terrorist side for complexity, something that we didn't actually see them pick up throughout that second half. I don't think he had the op at all throughout that entirety of that second half. They're actually going to pop the door and see if there's anybody boosted, but there's not going to be anybody over in this area. Shroud is going to be the only one over by the spammable wall, and it doesn't look like he's going to be too keen to peek this. He's just going to throw a little bit of spam over in that area as he hears some footsteps, but it looks like it's going to be another hit towards the B-bomb site. But with Freakazoid picking up the op, I mean, he's only gotten 14 kills in this matchup out of the 30 rounds that have played out, but that op kill is a pretty big one.
And now they're going to smoke things off here on the B-bomb site. Moving in is Roka, but the problem is, where's that team support? Where's the follow-up from his teammates? There's none of it. They have a nice stack in the CT Cubby, so Freakazoid is able to pick off Shinobi with his op. Def is sitting here waiting for the CTs to get aggressive, but he's losing his teammates one by one is the problem. And ultimately, nothing, just going to rush right up from the pit and shut him down. No kills at all from complexity that time. And C9 keep all 5 alive by picking up the first round here in OT.
Yeah, and this is the biggest thing about it right now is just the switch up from Cloud9. I mean, putting Freak with an op and putting him on Monster, completely unexpected. I mean, out of everybody that's on this team, Freakazoid is probably the last person you expect to pick up an op. I mean, Stewie has kind of been their secondary. Shroud has been known to op from time to time. Nothing, not a terrible opper in his own right, but Freakazoid? When the hell do you ever see him with an op? And nothing. What?
Clothesline Sanks in his attempt to just direct push up from Monster. Now Freak in a great position. There's no challenge on construction at all, so he gets a free kill on Naroka. And complexity have to fall back now because they've made no progress on getting control of the site, or at least hold themselves back for a few extra moments. But then there's Freak again with the op. Finally a kill for the T's. And Def takes down Stewie, but that may be the only kill they find. Although Def has something else to say before finally being taken out by Shroud to give Cloud9 17 rounds, 2 more away from taking control of the map.
Yeah, and not only that, but I was talking about complexity being, you know, on the more favorable side, the T side, where they've gotten all of their rounds. Cloud9 suddenly come alive in this overtime. They get 2 out of the 3 rounds. This is really scary now for complexity because they only got 5 rounds on their CT side. Cloud9 has an opportunity to get more than half of the rounds that they got in regulation in 1/2 of overtime. That's nuts.
So now for complexity, another thing with complexity too is so far in OT, of course, we've seen both the rounds just go directly to the B-bomb site with like no variation on it at all. And even in regulation time, they were a they leaned heavily on their B hits in order to make progress. So whenever we saw them go to A, actually most of the time C9 were either able to trade very heavily or just outright make the retake happen and pick up rounds on their CT side. So now they're going to be shifting things up. Definitely not fully committing themselves to an A hit just as of yet, but the way that they're moving themselves around the map now, do they check things? If they can find an opener towards that A bomb site, it looks like they're definitely going to try to push towards it this time around. But considering how inexperienced they are, at least in this matchup, that could prove very badly and could just lead to an easy 3-0 start here in OT for C9.
Yeah, and that's where things actually get really, really scary for complexity is right now they're already on the back foot. I mean, they're 2 rounds away from going down. Cloud9 found success on their T side. This time around, it's going to be, you know, trying to fake over towards the B-bomb site and then push in towards A. Stewie's going to get aggressive behind this. He's not going to be able to find the frag. Roka's going to be able to capitalize, so they at least get the early man advantage here onto the complexity side.
That did give away the bomb's location, though. So now we're going to see the very quick rotation from C9 wrap back up here to the A-bomb site. I'm actually pretty amazed that Complexity didn't either try to push towards the A-bomb site very quickly or shift this up to a B play, because now, look, again, where's the utility for the T side? They're just trying to walk right up. There's 2 ops here. This isn't going to work, guys. You got to try to hang back a little bit here now and get some utility on this site. Finally, there's a smoke, but it's too late, and Skadoodle can just wrap around this because there's no pressure on Long. Picks up another player on a Shinobi. Def's trying to move in to force the plan at the very least, but they're just getting picked up. Def responds, taking down Skadoodle. Trying to find a 1v2, but there's only 4 seconds left, so now he's going to move in and try to find these frags, and oh, they're both out of his point of view. He picks up one of them, but the timer expires, and Shroud takes down Def anyway. C9, 18-5, flawless on the first half of OT.
Yeah, that was massive. I mean, what a stand from Cloud9. They couldn't get jack diddly crap going on their CT side and during regulation, and now, coming into overtime, they just completely romp it. 3 rounds to none. Moving on to match point, going into their T side where they had their most success in this matchup. So that is really well played. You can just see that they turned it up a notch going into the second half. I mean, putting it up on Freakazoid, maybe that's all it took. You know, nothing started hitting some nice shots there towards the end of that. But Yeah, we're on match point, boys.
So now compLexity, I imagine, needs a few extra moments here to figure out how they want to formulate this CT side, because there was some very big problems with it on the first half, and it was actually a lot of it stemmed from that economy, because I think we talked about it at one point that they had to save over the course of that half. I think it ended up being like 7 or 8 times, so almost for the entire half of the half they were saving and really couldn't do anything against C9. So that's not going to be an issue this time, of course, with it being an OT, but still, when it comes to the gun rounds, which are still fairly hit or miss, they need to be able to perform here, and it needs to be all 3 rounds, otherwise C9 are going to take the map.
Yeah, so now we get to find out. What's it going to be, compLexity? Are you going to be able to stay alive in this one, try to force double OT, or are you going to go down in the first map of your double header against Cloud9? Now's the time that we find out. Def going to get aggressive here in Subway. He knows that Shroud likes to come around this way because he killed him there 2 or 3 times in the first half. So this time around, they're going to have a little bit of a standoff, but is Def actually facing the right direction? He was looking for the angle, but now without that push coming out, he's just going to smoke it off and bide his time.
So very slow play at the beginning of this round from C9. Not very proactive at all on getting actual map control, but Freak has snuck his way all the way to sandbags. That's Fraud's area, though. You don't screw around with sandbags, because even in regulation time on CT side, Fraud was dominating that. So bad Freakazoid. Don't go there. Fraud's going to wreck you, and that's exactly what happens at the beginning of this round. Taking him down, and now C9 still a little bit frozen outside of Monster, but this is where they're formulating a lot of their players. They have them locked in, though. Here's the problem. Now nothing's a pop flash. That's a great peek from Roka, but he is traded out by Stewie. Ultimately, though, it shouldn't matter in the grand scheme of things, as now we're down to a 4v2, and C9 basically have 0 control of the map.
And Fraud getting aggressive here. He's going to... Oh, never mind. I was going to say he's going to be able to catch Skadoodle, but I am wrong. Though that crack in the door just wide enough for Def to be able to peek out and find that frag, and now it's going to be on Stewie to try to find something. Does manage to pop flash out, and he does manage to take down Def. That's a little bit of a wonky play there, but he does get it done. Stewie 2K coming back down towards the B-bomb site. Still got to deal with Fraud, or pardon me, Shinobi, that's over here on the short B. So if he does decide to try to push in, which he is going to do, he's got to be able to clear out this angle, and Shinobi, he's just going to play the post-plant game. Or
But
not!
Stewie finds that kill on a Shinobi, and now Sanks moving out. He has the...
Game
the
over.
Angle, but he misses because he's still moving when he takes
4v1.
the shot. There you
Wrecked.
have it. Stewie closes it out in a 4v1. Huge clutch from him, and they will take the first map in this set. Nicely done, Stewie.
I mean, compLexity, they've got to be face palming on that one. How do they give that up? They gave him 4 1v1s. He closes it out. That's just ridiculous. But yeah, that's going to be it for the first map. Cash is going to be our next one between Cloud9 and compLexity. And as a reminder, coming up after that, we're only halfway through our broadcast for the night, so it's a long night for us guys. Coming up after that is going to be Renegades versus Optic, and that's going to be Inferno followed by Cobblestone. So make sure that you guys are in it to win it. We're going to be here for the long haul tonight, so we'll see you guys in a few minutes for our next one on Cash between compLexity and Cloud9.